and welcome to the Afters Podcast Basscoast edition. We are joined by Unmarried Woman today. Welcome in. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm great, thank you.
Amazing. So we are so excited to bring you this episode of Unmarried Woman. We're going to take you behind the scenes of her show at Basscoast. How are you feeling about things?
I feel just so excited. We've got like a few days to go, and the last time I played Basscoast was 2 years ago, and then I was doing more like daytime Cantina, and to be invited back, and now I'm not based in here anymore, I'm based in Berlin, so I've come all the way over to do it. It's such an honour. They gave me the chance to do it, and it's such an exciting slot, and I can't wait. I'm already like feeling the Basscoast energy in the run-up.
Yes.
I feel like the whole community, we can all feel it already.
Yeah, in the lead up, there's 1 week to go. We're recording this on Monday, and it will be there on Friday. I'm so excited. Let's take you back, though. I want to get to know you a little bit more, though. Kind of bring me into the beginning of all of this. Do you remember kind of the first time that you fell in love with music?
The first time I fell in love with music. Well, I have a lot of memories of music from when I was younger. Like my dad's always played like jazz music, and that's always been a big background part of my life. Like a big like theme of my childhood was like hearing that in the background. And I feel like now, even though now I play a bit more like house and disco stuff, you can really feel the influence of it in the kind of experimental instrumentation. Like you'll hear it at Basscoast. I always playing stuff that's very infused with that, so it's kind of a running theme. Soulful jazz influences you can find all the way through the music that I love. So I feel like that kind of like started it all off, and a lot of people in my family, like my childhood was very like musical theatre oriented, all about performance. And I also feel like there was this big love that I have from, you know, the time when I grew up, like early 2000s, of that early 2000s sound. I always talk about this all the time on my radio show about my big love of William Orbit, who's like one of these producers, kind of sound of the early 2000s, produced a lot of Madonna stuff. Yeah. And I feel like that mixed with the sounds of my parents and the childhood and this jazz influences, and then these really synthy, atmospheric early 2000s sound together, for me, really has kind of laid a path for me to just always have an interest in it, and it always finds a place in my life. And so it kind of just felt like a natural thing to get involved with.
Absolutely, yeah. So I guess, how did that play into starting to DJ? Like, how did you get into that?
I think a lot of people probably have the same story, where they're always collecting music without even realizing. So when I decided I wanted to start DJing, it was so easy for me to start my first set because I'd been collecting music for so long without even realizing. And I think that is probably like the start of a lot of people's DJ journey, is that they've always been the one that wants to be putting the music on for people and like kind of sit in the corner at the parties and just has an idea, like to nerd out about hearing different samples and the history of the songs and everything. Oh, this one is sampled from this one, which comes from, you know, decades ago. And when I started putting together my first DJ set, basically I decided to make a 1 hour set just for myself at home, and then I shared it with all my friends. And it was like, I was kind of inspired by like the Boiler Room style, you know, 1 hour, if you had to do that, what are the tracks you put together? So I started doing that. And it was so easy for me because I just had this kind of like feeling for 2 decades that I just kind of was like, I already have all this music, like how's it going to go together? How can I kind of infuse all this influence I've had? And so throughout pandemic, when I started putting sets together, it was a really, really natural way to kind of collect all of the inspirations I'd found over the last 10 years and all these different cities I'd lived in and all these different musical influences and the different friends that I've met. It was quite natural entry point, to be honest.
Absolutely. I feel like I identify with that so much too. Like one of the reasons why I started DJing, I had a collection too, was because I was snowboarding with all my friends, and I was like, oh, this is a playlist that I play. Do you guys want to turn like, wait, this is fire, what's going on?
Oh, and you know, the way that your friends support you, it kind of feeds into that, and that you kind of go, oh, I think I've got something here. People really like this. I really like seeing their reaction and everything.
Definitely.
You obviously could create like an atmosphere for your friends, and that kind of like, it really like gives you life, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. does. It gives you like such a community vibe. Like you already have your group of friends, you know, and then you just find more friends, and that's how you grow your audience, right?
That is such a nice perspective. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's beautiful though. So I hear throughout your journey, you've kind of lived in a lot of different places. I hear your accent too. And I know that you're coming from Berlin here to Vancouver. You said you spent a couple of years here. Where in the world have you been in what parts of your life?
Well, I moved to Berlin last year, and since then I've been kind of involved in the music scene. But before that, I lived here for 5 years, and I was involved in the music scene here. I was doing a regular show on B-side radio here, which is something that now I've kind of moved over to doing radio in Berlin. But I got really involved in the music scene here. But before that, I lived in London for a while. I lived in Wales. I lived, you know, different places in the UK. I lived in the Netherlands. London was a big influence on me music-wise back when I lived there, which was about 10 years ago. That was when there was this big resurgence of disco, but it was more like 70s disco. And that hearing the disco on the dance floor at the clubs was kind of mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, that was the new disco era back then,
Yeah,
it was huge for a while.
I thought, I didn't really know you could play this in the club still, you know, it was great.
People were producing.
Now it's not really. Sorry?
I was just saying, there's a lot of new production that was disco, that was people were bringing to the table as well. It was like a really hot time during that time, 2014.
It really was a good time to be. Yeah. It was exactly 2014. It was 2015 I was there. And it was exactly the time of that, the craze of Dimitri from Paris. You know, it was like, this was the time of that kind of like London resurgence. And that really inspired me. And I've never really got over it, as you can see, because I'm still playing disco. But yeah, so it's just kind of been an infusion of different things, and moving to Berlin, which is really hard not to be around the music scene there. I mean, it's such a hub. It's interesting to see all this little combination of these different music styles and scenes. It's not very super separated. It can be like a beautiful infusion. So it's kind of like every single place I've lived, I've kind of picked up on different influences.
As you would, I guess, especially because you were working in all of them too.
Working in
music,
and I mean, I love the music scene in Vancouver. I love it. I was just saying to you before, I've just come back and I just feel like I've just like slipped back in so easily because it's so filled with love here. And that the way that it embraced me and the fact that I was able to play Basscoast the first time around, I mean, it was just, I'd never felt quite so much like myself until I moved here and I was part of the music scene. It really helped me feel like people accepted me for who I was. I could just be weird and myself, and people would just come for it, you know?
It's something we talk about all the time, but the way to hear it from your perspective is like, it's like huge. Like just the impact it would have from somebody who's a, you know, outsider, I guess, to come in and feel so welcome by.
I mean Vancouver as well. People always talk about how hard it is to.
Yeah, it is hard, but if
move
you find
here
the right group,
and find your community.
Yeah, if you find the right group of people, it's basically the festival crowd. But if you find the festival crowd, then it's like a different perspective that nobody understands. Like if you just try to do the mainstream thing, it is exactly how people describe it. But as soon as you meet like one person in the festival or in the music community, it's just a game over. So everything flips. Done.
But Basscoast is the perfect little microcosm of that as well. I mean, it's the reflection of, it encapsulates that community so well. Like I've been, before I played, I went as a guest, as a, you know, I was paying for a ticket. And the first time I went, I didn't really get it. I mean, that was a few years before, and it's just so different from the festivals you have in the UK. So different.
Oh yeah. How's it going? Like, what's the major way?
Well, you know, I mean, that's not true. It's not, you know, that's a bit of a generalization.
Sure.
But the festivals I had been to, it's like the kind of performance aspect of it. It's you're part of the art, even if you're there as someone who's bought a ticket and is there to see the music. It's not that's not where your participation ends. You know, there's these people going through the crowd. They're kind of like doing in Basscoast,
Basscoast.
You know,
there's a very
my understanding.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I mean, I was thinking my understanding of music festivals was more like you go, you see it, you've got the music and you've got the people, and it's not really like this relationship. it's just a load of concerts, or that's the ones I'd been to. And this is more like you are part of the art, and you are encouraged to be silly in this way that's like, it's incredible. I thought, I don't know, the second time I went, I was like, I get it now.
Yeah, to me, I always describe Basscoast as a festival. It's not necessarily just a music festival. It's an arts festival. Music is a big part of art.
Yes.
But there's also the visual aspect. There's also a lot of other creative aspects about it that, the costume and stuff like that. Like people go really balls to the walls for their outfits there. Like it's a fashion show. Kind of.
One of my favorite parts, seeing the people just coming in their groups when they have a theme.
Yeah.
Like the people that have really put their time into it.
Yeah.
I get really excited every time for like, what have people come up with?
Yeah, it's
I like
fun.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, the effort, it shows. Like you said, it doesn't end. Your participation doesn't end just by showing up. You're part of the visual aspect or the participatory aspect or whatever is performative aspect that you want to bring to the table.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait. Oh, you're getting me really excited about it. I can't wait to see like
I'm not ready.
what people have this year.
I know, we're talking about our outfits, I'm like, I've got nothing. I gotta go shopping.
It's all right, you'll be fine. Well, do you know what? Because we've got like, this theme is reflection. It's very convenient because this is like the year of the Taylor Swift Eras tour. Very easy to find reflective outfits because it's like her whole thing is just like glittery little bodysuits. So I was looking online and I was like, there's so many options. I was like, oh yeah, Taylor Swift. Like it's everywhere.
Taylor Swift effect. Yeah, she's influencing all, Oh, I love it. That's cool. So I guess with all the cities that you've kind of traveled to, lived in, been at, you noticed a huge influence of Vancouver being so warm and welcoming and friendly. What are some cool aspects of other communities that you would love to bring into the Vancouver scene, or just kind of want to highlight a little bit? Like what were you like, wow, this is really cool. I love this aspect of a different community.
I mean, Berlin is like, everybody who has been there can just so easily attest to it. Like people always want to bring parts of Berlin to try and replicate some of the energy of that. There's just no question. I mean, recently, I'm also an artist. I do like portraits, and I was there and I did an art exhibition there recently. And the fact that I just moved there and I had a chance to do an art exhibition, it's very much like you go to a city like that and people go, oh, you're an artist? Yeah, dude. There's no dream too big. It's no, like everyone just takes your dreams seriously. It's like, we'll make that happen. It's very much like community minded. Let's find a way to make this happen. Yeah. It's very like, everybody supporting one another. There's so much music opportunities to go round. So I've really found that people just like really want to book each other. They really want to introduce each other to each other. There's not, in the scene I've been in, there hasn't been much competition. There hasn't been much competitive attitude. It's been really like embracing each other, and I love that. I do think that's here too in Vancouver for sure, but that's something that's really shining in Berlin, I found
different
personally.
Scale probably there.
Because there's so much. You don't play this weekend, you'll play any other year of like night of the year. There's just so much.
Yeah.
The venues are fantastic there. I think there's something about the historic buildings. Even the smallest venues will be something that are just beautiful to behold.
Definitely something missing here.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely something missing here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it has like potential.
There's potential, yeah. It's just we are missing that.
Yeah.
There isn't the focus on aesthetic here that places like Europe have had hundreds of years to develop, or like, for example, places like Bali or Tulum, where everything is built with aesthetic first, practicality. Who
like
cares?
Just naturally so beautiful.
Just let's make it as crazy beautiful as possible, and we'll figure out the rest after. We just have nothing like that here.
Yeah, I mean, also the thing about some of those venues is it's not just like the beauty, but it's the beauty that comes from the functional nature of the. I mean, I'm an architect, so I could talk about this for ages, but it's like the functionality of those buildings, and you're kind of like repurposing something that had like a real functionality designed around being a factory. There's something really beautiful about that. Here, with there being not as much history in the buildings, or at least the newer buildings that are built. You can't possibly replicate that. Anyway,
it's more of a let's make it practical. I mean, they're starting to make some of these buildings a little bit more interesting looking now, like as in the last 5 years. But Before it's just like it's practicality, it's design, it's efficiency, and let's get it up. You know?
Yeah, they had to cart all the materials all the way across either the land or the ocean. They're like, oh, forget it, we've done our job.
Yeah. But you know, for what it's working with, the Vancouver scene is just doing an amazing job,
we're
and it's really
punching above
grown in a. Yeah, do you know what? That's a really good way of putting it. It's for the size and the amount of different music that is having to be compressed into that size. I mean, it's really doing a good job. The radio station, B-Side Radio, you know the radio station?
I've heard of it. I haven't been over there too many times, but so if you want to explain a little bit too, tell us, plug it.
Yeah, well, I'm doing a show next week actually. If you want to come by, we're doing a little takeover. You're so welcome to join. Yeah, please do. It is the radio station B-Side Radio. It is in Mount Pleasant area. Set up in kind of like an old repurposed garage, basically. They put it together completely, like the community made it during the pandemic as like a project to keep them going, and they've been doing live stream radio shows ever since, all day, every day.
Very cool.
You know,
I'm not sure why I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I've seen.
Run by a guy called Jamal. Oh, please come along. Oh my god, it's amazing. You'll love it. It's beautiful, and it's like they have so many different kinds of music. I feel like I've watched it grow over the last few years, and I just feel so proud that I got to be part of it. It's just a really cool space, and I think what's really nice about it is it doesn't belong to a particular scene. So you'll have people from the bass scene, the techno scene, the house scene, you know, all these different kinds of shows. And these kind of spaces are amazing because they're a great platform for infusing these different communities, you know. So there's like not as much division by the nightlife, and just but people like separating these communities, going to these different nights out. A radio station's the perfect way to combine them all. And then it's just kind of everyone's learning from each other and playing on each other's different shows. I absolutely loved my time there. I used to run a show there on Sundays. It was like a guest show in the morning, and it was one of the best things I did in all of my time in Vancouver. Cool. I loved it. It's so lovely. So definitely come along next week. I'll tell you the details.
Send us details. Also, we're on video, so we'll plug it too. And everybody.
I mean, they just doing such a good job, and
definitely.
Amazing.
So I guess without diving too deeply into your career, because we're obviously going to talk to you at Basscoast too, but I guess what is one thing that you really feel like you overcame a challenge in your career, or like what is one big win that you feel like you would love to share with everybody, or even like kind of the next generation that's coming up after you? What is something that they can really take away?
A good challenge. Well, the thing is, when you decide to put yourself out there in any creative industry, basically what at first seems like just a sweet little dive into, well, like music, let's try this, at the end of the day, if you decide to go forward with something in a creative way, you really putting yourself in a place, like a vulnerable space, and you're really not every show is gonna go amazing, and you have to be able to like constantly realize like how much you don't know. At first, you know, you kind of feel like you've got this like confidence driving up, but at some point you're always going to come across with public failure. You know, you're not gonna get booked all the time, you're not going to be playing the stuff people always want. You're gonna, and so the more you put yourself out there, somebody said to me recently, I had a show that I didn't feel like it went fine, but I didn't feel like it went super well. And he was like, if you didn't have the risk of something going badly, then you wouldn't be, it wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be creativity. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like every single time, and that can really like hit your ego when something goes wrong. But actually, I think every time it's a reminder of like, thank God there's something that's humbling me to kind of remind me why I'm challenging myself in a good way, and I'm growing for every single one of these experiences. When I moved to Berlin, it was a really good challenge in reminding me, what did I really want from this in the first place? Because you don't necessarily move somewhere and expect to get booked or expect to exactly replicate that same community. So when you do that, you have to just really face yourself and go, maybe I'll never get booked. Maybe I just really enjoy, if I get to play a couple of records every so often, that'd be amazing. And you just change your perspective and your expectations of yourself, and you remind yourself, what am I doing this for in the first place? I really like music. I love the community of it all. Every single time I think you move to a new city or you move to a new party space or a new scene, you come across those same questions for yourself, and every single time it just kind of deepens your love for why you did it in the first place, and it drives you forward.
So that core value has to be what you focus on. That's the main reason you started. It's not going to change when you go somewhere else. Keep on that.
Well, it is, and that's the thing that gets you through every time you might have feel like you've messed up.
Yeah. Or
something that really like hits your ego, or that didn't go super well, or like, I just totally train wrecked in front of all these people, whatever, like, or like loads of my dance floors are completely empty, right? You still have to be enjoying yourself even if you've got an empty dance floor. Do you know what I mean? Like you do have to. Doing an opening set is an honor.
Yeah. Are you doing it because you're enjoying it, or are you doing it to get the validation? And then
exactly.
Yeah.
Having that constantly being faced with that question is like a true, like, that is a marker that like makes you there's a marker of growth every single time. And if you're still enjoying it in spite of all those challenges, then you just have like I think you end up having a really healthy relationship with it. It's quite a vague, it's not exactly one big challenge, it's a bit of a vague response, but
it's a challenge that so many people like encounter every so often too. And I love the two takeaways from that. One being like vulnerability is true artistic expression, you know, like that's really at the end of the day.
You're showing people your heart, and you're saying judge me. And some people will be like, that's amazing, we love this. Some people will be like, you know, I kind of like a different flavor of heart. And you're like,
not my heart.
And you just you worry less and less about it, and you just kind of respect everyone's opinions, and you do your own thing.
Definitely.
But
you're not going to make everybody happy all the time. That's the one thing I had to learn when I was, you know, in my late 20s as a people pleaser back then. And, you know, it's like when I got over that and I realized like the people that you do make happy just being yourself are the ones you want, and the rest of them can go have themselves.
Yeah. And you kind of put the value on, like, you really kind of like start to value those opinions that value you more, which really should be, you know, there's people that have been with you from the beginning. Why are we put so much emphasis on any negative opinion when there's people who've been loving us all along and never stopped? Having our support anyway, having support for us, but that's the whole thing.
I know, we've grown so much.
Well, I'm feeling that right now because I just came back and I feel like so much love in the city, so I'm like having all these like internal, like, in-depth thoughts about it all. I feel very spiritual.
No, that's beautiful. I'm so glad that you feel that here too, because that's what we feel about this scene. You know, that's what we love about
you do.
That's what we want to highlight and bring to the world too. It's like there's so much love here. There's so much music. You know, you can just step into this scene and feel that embrace. You just have to find us a little bit.
I think you've got a good thing going. I think you guys have a really nice attitude to it all, and I really like how you, like you're saying, you want to interview people from lots of different communities. Like I think that's one of the best kinds of platforms. So I'm very like drawn to what you guys are doing. I think it's lovely.
I mean, it's been received better than my best imagination could have even.
Really? That's so lovely.
It's been such a journey, and even like Basscoast welcoming us in and
we've been doing it for less than a year. They're like, sure, come on in.
No way. Oh, that's sick. No, it's going to be cool.
It's really cool being given opportunities, like you're saying, too. And it's like, we do have to remember at the end of the day, like, we are kind of servants to the dance floor. We're servants to other people. We are serving the music and, like, offering that out as well. And so it's just, like, the energy that you give out, you get back 10.
Right? I mean, to be fair, you know, when you say people give you opportunities, and, like, I found that, I can't believe these people are helping me. These people are giving me a little lesson. They're giving me advice. When I've said to people like, wow, I just feel so honoured that I'm getting this, people have said to me like, just pay it forward. You know, you don't need to be, don't give everything back, pay it forward. And one of the best things you can do is find ways to do that. And I try to do that with my radio show as well, because I have like a guest show, and I think that's really helpful. I also have a guest show in Berlin, a radio show, and being able to bring people on, give them that opportunity. It feels like you're kind of like carrying on this community legacy that people gave to you. The amount of people who are getting free DJ lessons from each other, I mean, that is like the heart of it all. And I mean, you guys are doing that easily because this is a platform where you are paying it forward.
Absolutely.
So so much you say, oh, Basscoast, welcome us in. You know, you deserve it, because what you're doing is you're giving back to the community. So
definitely, yeah, that was my intention.
Makes a
with
lot of
the
sense.
podcast too. Is like, I can't go to every show. I'm a little grandma. I go to
Yeah.
bed at like midnight. You know, that's what I love to do. But I'm like, okay, well, if I can give everybody a platform, like, you know, embrace and like love the people around me too. Like, that's the way I can do it.
I'm the one who goes to every show.
There we go. He goes to.
You're the one that goes, well, it's important there's two of you. You know, I go to bed at 10:30.
Yeah.
So I get you completely. Unless I'm DJing, I go to bed at 10:30. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's lovely.
No, we're all here for that purpose, and just, you know, having fun, listening to music. And we're so excited to listen to music at your show, 8 o'clock. Are you on Saturday? Sunday?
8 o'clock. Sleigh Bay on Saturday.
Yeah.
You're going to slay the scene?
Saturday, 8:15. 8:15.
8:15.
At Sleigh Bay on Saturday.
Nice.
And it's going to be the sunset.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So when you look at we looked it up online, and it's like, my set start to finish is like the sun going down.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So I really did try and plan it around that.
Vibe.
So
Yeah.
hopefully like that works out
That's
well.
awesome.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
All right, let's head to the
Yeah, I'm really
festival.
excited.
We'll talk about your set a little bit more, and we'll see you there.
Right on.
Can't wait. Thank you so much. See you there.
Hello and welcome to the Afters Podcast, Basscoast edition. We are joined by Unmarried Woman. Welcome in. How are you?
Hiya, thanks for having me.
Oh, thank
thank
you
you.
so much for being here.
Yeah.
Also, you've flown all the way from Berlin. How was your journey in?
Was very, very long.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think we've talked about this before. As soon as I got in, I was filled with so much love. It was worth the long journey.
Yeah.
And now I'm
Amazing.
here at Basscoast.
Yeah.
Not like no doubt at all. It was the right decision to come back.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful every moment.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
weekend's been amazing so far.
Definitely. Like, I love all the art exhibits. The
Amazing.
music's been so much fun.
Yeah.
Everything at night has been beautiful.
Yeah. I love the
Yeah.
costumes.
Yeah.
I really like it when I see group costumes.
Yeah.
That like brings me a lot of joy to see what people have been up to.
Amazing. The ingenuity and the imagination of everybody is just so inspiring.
Yeah,
too.
the art's very cool as well. We're
Yeah.
actually in one of the art exhibits right now doing this
Someone
particular.
has made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cute and cozy.
That's
Yeah.
very cute.
So if you guys can't tell right now, but this thing spins. So if we get
So afterwards, once we shut off the cameras, we'll
We're
all
gonna
go
go
for a
play,
little
yeah.
spin.
Comment,
Yeah.
spin.
Right before your DJ set.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be topsy-turvy. Do you ever walk away from these weekends feeling more inspired? Do you ever walk away feeling like you want to create something more out of them?
I think that one of my biggest lessons from other DJs is, you know, the music is the music, okay? Like, you kind of, well, it's just kind of music, but how they've crafted a set. I mean, we've just been listening to one at the moment, the Mall
Yeah.
at Sleigh Bay, and it's just really beautiful seeing the journey that it's taken.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge journey that he's taken people on. And that is one of the biggest inspirations I get from people. And I think, okay, I can always learn lessons about how I can make mine better and kind of infuse different genres. So that's something that I really look for is just like playing around with different genres. And I've already found that a lot this weekend. So very inspired by that.
There's
Very cool,
no
yeah.
shortage of like cool genres, different genres, things you've never heard of before.
Totally.
And there's
Totally
also,
inspiring you.
yeah, in this festival
Yeah.
too, there's a lot of room for DJs to go experimental without, you know, facing, you know, that kind of backlash that mainstream
Commercial
crowd,
part,
commercial stuff, yeah.
effect. you
Yeah,
know?
so it's been it's one of those places where you can really like hear something as an artist that you haven't heard before, a way they do things that you haven't thought of. So
Definitely. Yeah. Are you connecting with old people? Are you finding new friends this weekend?
Bit of both.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I had so many old friends, so many faces that I absolutely love here, and the kind of excitement and the encouragement they've given for coming to see my set has like really built my confidence. I really needed that. But also one of the best things is just hearing people that I haven't met before saying that they wanted to be there for it.
Yeah.
That is something that I just absolutely love it when people tell me that, because it makes me feel like they're not, you know, I love it when my friends are there, and also it's like they get to meet those other people who are just kind of like on their own little journeys.
Definitely.
So yeah, I'm really excited to see like what kind of faces show up.
Yeah, all the journeys will align tonight.
All the journeys align.
Yeah.
Hopefully they like it, taking us up into the sunset.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is such a beautiful hour right now. The sun is setting. It's all sparkly and gorgeous out.
yeah, the wind's starting to pick up and cool the place down a little.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
It was so warm.
It wasn't so freezing
Yeah.
last night though.
It wasn't so cold. No.
No, I was freezing.
Oh, you were freezing. Oh no. I put a sweater on.
I was like, I never learn. I never learn. I just get really cold and I get really shaky, and I'm like, come on, get your jumper on.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
But you got the cute outfit on, so it's
Really
like
hard.
I know. I want to keep these boots on all night, but I don't know if you guys can see. This is not.
You look amazing.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, like, they're not really hot.
Oh yeah, we're sweating.
I'm literally sweating, but the water's running down my leg and into my socks.
There is a waterfall
These are the
somewhere,
secrets.
and
I'm
it's
peeing
not
myself,
from the
let's
sky.
be honest.
All for the fashion.
All
you
for
know?
the fashion.
Yeah. So how's your set coming along? Are you finished? Are you done? Are you confident? How many times have you gone over it?
I have a couple of friends with studios in Vancouver, so I was going over it with them. It's like the chaos of the festival. And
Oh my God.
I was kind of like going through it with them, and these people who've known me for so many years and they know me so well, so the kind of advice they can give me, and if they can just like affirm, no, this is really you, it reflects you, that has been the most perfect way to prepare, to be honest. It's kind of like seeing old faces, people who aren't even here this weekend, they just know me really well, and they just can see how happy I am with the music I'm going to play.
Very cool.
And I'm hoping to, as I said, like infuse the different kinds of genres, so hopefully it's a bit of a journey.
Yeah.
So it's very different from, it's not very different, but it's a different vibe from the last one that I did.
Yeah.
Which was in the daytime, and I'm hoping that I get to like show off a little bit more of how I see the evening time.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure.
And so hope that you guys like it.
Oh yeah.
I hope that you're gonna be front and center.
Well, I'm gonna be very judgmental and
You're gonna be judgmental?
very critical.
You know, I hope you are. You have to hold me to a standard.
Yeah.
No, we
Yeah, it's fine.
No.
He'll
But
tell,
I only,
he'll tell the truth.
but I would say leave it 2 days because I only want compliments right after.
Yeah. Nothing but hype. Nothing but hype.
No. All the love, definitely.
Yeah,
All the
I'm
time.
really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play some more vocal tracks, and I love tracks with vocals in it, and it's not always easy to find that as many in like a bass festival, so I feel like it's nice to spice things up for people a little bit.
Definitely give them a little bit old, a little new, and a little like reminiscent that they can kind of sing along to a little bit. Yeah, it's really cool. We've said this before, but like really at the end of the day, what your DJ set should be is your favorite mix, your favorite DJ set, and I feel like you can really bring that here, you know? Like the set that you envision that you want to go see in the sunset.
Oh my God, you know what? That's what I was thinking this week. Yeah. It's like at the end of the day, if I can say this is exactly what I would want to do for myself, for that, I can only assume other people share that.
Exactly, everybody will like it. Yeah, you're gonna be your worst critic. So if you like it, if you love it, then everybody's gonna love it.
I do love it.
Yeah,
I always say that. It's one of my favorite songs on there.
Yeah. I always say like one thing I found, and I've said this on the pod before, is that once I started to learn how to DJ, you know, I suddenly became my favorite DJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I love that
Because it's
It
like
is.
you find all your favorite music, you mix it the way that you want to mix it, and you listen to that mix, and you're like, that's fucking. Like it's that DJ's reading my mind. Oh wait, it's me.
Oh wait,
You know what I mean?
actually it's myself.
Yeah.
It's almost like an ADHD thing too, because I'm so involved and I'm so listening to the music at such a deep level too, and you're mixing two genres, two genres together. You're like so engaged and enjoying the music and having that conversation.
Completely. Although I will say, like, to give respect to these DJs that I'm inspired by, I will find, like, I'll hear a song in a mix that they are playing, and I'll think, oh my God, that's amazing. And when I somehow, like, when I'm listening to it in isolation or when I'm doing it, it doesn't have the same impact. And that is, like, a credit to
them,
their
for
mixing
sure.
and that they played it at the right
That creativity,
time.
that artistry.
They had actually put it into a story, and it actually is not the same in isolation. And then that's when you're like, okay, I can't replicate that.
Yeah.
No.
So
But let's do it
I
my
have
way.
so much respect for their craft then.
Yeah.
And then you kind of come up with your own version of it, don't you?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's like a really good journey to have where you just maintain so much respect and admiration for these influences you have.
Absolutely. And it's almost interesting also on the other side of it being an audience member too, because it's like you're going on a story, you're going on a journey that has no words. You know, it's a book.
Yeah, it
It's
has
a book.
notes. But
It has notes, it has feeling, it has emotions, it has connection points between all of them. And if everybody in the audience is kind of going along that journey with you, like that's just like such a complete full circle.
You guys are so poetic. I love the way that you talk about this stuff. I think it is a really nice to kind of bring in this kind of language when talking about it. It's really respectful, and it also can cover all manner of genres.
Definitely. I mean, I think we've been old heads at this. I've been,
I've been doing this
listening
too long.
to techno since I was like 12 or 13.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, you're well
and
prepared.
then he's, well,
I'm just
ageist.
Dinosaurs used to roam the earth when I was still going out.
I won't be ageist. But yeah, we just love this music so much, and like this is why we come here to this kind of thing, and everybody here is so artistic in their own right.
This is why we do the podcast as well. So.
Yeah.
Is there some acts that you've been listening to, seen so far that you've been like, oh my god, incredible, I'm so inspired, anything
A
special?
little less so for me this year because I've been so focused on
We have been
telling
kind
the
of,
story with the podcast.
Yeah, we've been a little bit too
Yeah.
focused, not too focused, but a little bit focused on making sure we're prepped and have our stuff ready, and that we haven't actually listened to a lot of the music.
Which I'm honestly, it's okay. Like there's
it's
a good
okay.
balance. In previous years, I feel like we've gone to see the music a lot more.
Yeah.
But then this is my way of contributing back to the Vancouver industry,
we
right?
We spoke about that, and it's a beautiful thing to do. And that's true. When you have a goal at a festival, like, it's a very different experience.
Yeah.
But you see the music in a different way as well. When you're talking to people before, you can kind of then see what they're doing on stage.
Yeah.
Then you can really kind of go, I see what you meant there. You know what I
Absolutely,
mean?
and that's happened for sure. The last two interviews that we've done, for sure,
sick.
absolutely, because they'll give us a little like, insight onto what they were thinking, which you're going to do eventually.
Yes.
And then we go and listen to it, and we're like, okay, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
In the way, in a way that we didn't exactly think it was going to happen, but
Yeah.
we can see what they mean.
And I'm sure you feel that from like an artist standpoint too. Like you're coming to the festival with like a goal in mind, and you have to be at a fixed place at a fixed time. You don't want to get out of your mind or something like that. Get too messed up and not be able to DJ. So you have that goal in mind. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
and that's
I
so
don't-
different than being a patron.
I
right?
don't drink or anything before, but I do always have a little gin and tonic on stage with me.
Nice.
And I have one ready.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because it's just like something that just like it grounds me. Everyone's got their thing, and I love a gin and tonic.
Yeah.
So
I've
it's
told
like,
our production assistants they're not allowed to drink while we're working, but you know what? One gin and tonic
We can all
during
have
our
a gin
set.
and tonic.
I've
One
One
gin
for
and tonic
everyone.
during our set. All good.
I've actually required it of you.
Yeah.
That's because that's the vibe. So it'll put you in the right
There we
mood.
go.
On me
that's
too.
a
I
good
got
idea.
it for everyone. No
Oh,
problem.
That's so classic.
All right. Yeah. All right, should we go and listen to your sets? Have a gin and tonic.
Well, let's find
Vibe
out
out.
what do you have in store
yes.
for us? What do you think what's a surprise you
yeah.
got in store for us, or a little tease? Give us a little tease.
Little tease.
Well, I think that I was thinking about the fact that at the start of the set it's going to be sun up,
Yeah.
and I know that it's sunset at the end.
Yeah.
Right.
So I decided to really keep it light at the beginning with very soulful instrumental disco.
Yeah.
And I have kind of like dropped in some vocal tracks to kind of like ease in.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to push it a bit more into a little bit more like 80s electro as we get further into
Sweet.
the
Yeah,
night. And I
very
think it's really
fun.
important based on the kind of mood people are in to go a bit more into like psychedelic disco.
Yeah.
And I think that is the kind of thing that brings people together in the end. So I decided that like the final kind of thing, and I always like to finish on vocal tracks. So I have to pick tracks that I feel like are going to unite everyone in that moment. And so the whole thing is really just planned around how would I want to be brought into the sunset.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think I've done a good job. I think I've kind of gotten a little bit, we're getting a little deeper each track basically.
Yeah.
So hopefully you can see that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll keep our eyes out.
Yeah.
Eyes and ears
Looking forward
up.
to it.
Yeah. Enjoying it.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to somebody else being in your position next year? If somebody were to come to Basscoast kind of for the first time and
As a DJ
performer, their debut sets, what little words of wisdom would you like to pass on to them?
Okay, I think it's good to be around the stage a bit early because it's really good to get a sense of the crowd. It's really nice to get a feel of what the DJ before you is playing, not just to be respectful for them, but also because then you can really feel what kind of mood everybody's in, and then when it's your turn, you can feel like I'm not kind of in isolation. I'm here with them, and I am going to just kind of continue on this responsibility.
Yeah.
I think that's really good. It also can be really grounding to do that, and it's really, really natural to be really nervous before. I would say almost everybody that I know gets really feels that nerves beforehand, and that's a good thing. Usually that means that you're paying a bit more. You end up paying more attention and a bit more care when you're doing it. So just kind of embrace the nerves. Make sure you do something a little personal for yourself beforehand. Like, for example,
gin and tonic?
I always have a gin tonic. Always have a gin tonic.
Yeah.
And that's just something that I love, right? So that is something that I always do it at every set, and it's very personal to me. Everybody should have their own version of that. So I think just like whatever rituals you have, but just remember that like everyone gets a bit nervous, and this really is all about love. And no matter what you play and how you do it, it is going to be received in the best way. And everybody is here is so open-minded, so you really can't go wrong as long as you follow those rules that I said.
Rules for yourself.
Yeah.
Listen to yourself. The
Listen to your rituals.
authenticity.
Don't get cheeky. Don't try something new. Don't think you can get wasted before your set. Just stick to your plan.
Yeah.
Should be good.
Yeah.
And the community will embrace you.
And actually, you need to be playing tracks that are you. Don't be distracted by the fact that last night there was loads of bass music and you're thinking, oh God, I should play more bass, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what the crowd wants. No, you are here because people love you. You got booked for a reason.
Yeah.
You need to do stuff that you love because people can sense it.
Oh,
and just try and stick with your own identity and don't be confused.
Yeah.
And feel like you need to fit in or play up to anyone that you feel like you want to impress. No, be yourself. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think the live we did that media
Press
conference, and the librarian was saying like we pick the music, we pick the artists based on each stages, what character we want the stage to have, and each artist is part of that progression, like almost like a set progression.
Yeah.
It's
they've done
it's
it
like so
carefully
so
curated.
you don't want to be like they didn't spend all that time putting you in that spot for you to change things up.
Yeah,
Sound
that's
like somebody
the
else.
point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She's lovely, isn't she?
Oh my goodness, what a genius.
Yeah.
Two
absolutely.
geniuses.
know,
Yeah, amazing.
All right.
Well, we're
Thanks for
here.
having me.
Thank you for being here so much. We're gonna go over and see your set, capture a couple clips, we'll put everything in there, and then we will chase you down at the end of your set.
Absolutely. Yeah, go.
Drag you in, let us know how you feel, what you're thinking, everything like that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And until then, we'll see you.
You've got to grab me. Because I'll be probably, I won't have forgotten,
our
but I'll
last
be in a
two.
different mindset.
For
so
sure.
Yeah, we'll get your last
Get you
two.
rassled in.
Sick.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go kill it.
jumping up and down.
Thank you so much.
Oh my
it was
God.
amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like these kind of moments is when you're like, I trust myself.
Yes.
And the vision I had, I explained it to you before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it worked out exactly as I envisioned it. And I had this kind of trust in the crowd.
Yeah.
And they kind of came along with me.
Definitely. You did an incredible job. I loved it. You loved it. We all enjoyed it. Make sure to plug you. Make sure to put everything down below.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for hanging out with
Yes.
us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. That's really nice.
Yeah, thank you to Basscoast. We have more videos on the way, so make sure to check out all of our videos in the Basscoast edition of the Afters podcast. And until then, we'll see you soon. Bye.